everyone, welcome to my channel KLO. I'm Kiki and today I'm going to be doing the Booktube newbie tag intro video. I have the questions on my phone and we're going to go through them one by one, starting with why did you start this channel? If you've been to my channel before, or if you take a look at my past videos, you'll see that I've been quite AuthorTube focused, and that's because last year I started writing my first ever young adult fantasy book, and I originally started this channel to document that journey and to share anything I've learnt along the way with other new writers. But now I would love to be more of an active member on the Booktube side of YouTube. I already watch a lot of Booktubers and I want to share that content with others as well. Also, a few years ago, I was a streamer for a couple of years on Twitch, so I understand the value that online communities can bring to somebody's life. I was super lucky and made a lot of friends on Twitch, some of who were at my wedding. I met a whole bunch of people on my honeymoon and have been on trips since with people that I met online, and I'm actually going to Japan this year with more people from Twitch, which I think is amazing, and I'm hoping that I can find my book community on YouTube, which is why I'm making this video. Okay, so question number 2. What are some fun and unique things you can bring to Booktube? This question actually makes my palms sweat because I don't know if I'm that fun, but in terms of uniqueness, like everybody on Booktube, like everybody everywhere, everyone has their own opinions which are unique to them. So of course I'll be bringing my own unique opinions. And I guess the other thing that makes my channel unique for Booktube is that it's also going to be author focused, and I still plan to continue sharing book updates and how I'm getting on writing my novel and hints and tips that I learned to do with writing as well. Question number 3, what are you most excited about for this channel? That's a really good question, and I think the thing I'm most excited about is meeting people from all over the world, seeing what other people are reading, and learning in general. Although I did used to stream and I've made a few YouTube videos, I'm still fairly new at this, so it's all going to be a learning process for me, and I'm really looking forward to that. Another thing I'm really excited for is to look back at the end of the year or further on in the future and look back and to see how far I've come, and that will be in my writing and in the videos and the content that I put out there, so that's super exciting. And then I hope that this channel helps somebody. Like, since the pandemic I don't leave the house that often, so watching other booktubers has really helped me, and I hope that this channel can do the same for other people too. Question number 4, why do you love reading? So I have lots of answers for this one, and my top one would probably be the same as most people, and that is escapism. Like, oh, you're having a bad day at work? Why don't you just spend the evening traveling around Cosmere? That would be my first answer, but I think I also love reading because it brings back a lot of good memories. I remember my parents reading to me in bed as a kid. I remember my mum always reading while my dad's watching telly, and that just brings back really nice memories. I also love to read longer series, because it means I can stay with the characters I love for longer. I don't know if anybody else feels that too. If you do, please let me know in the comments. But yeah, they are probably the main reasons why I love reading. Okay, question number 5, what book or series got you into reading? So in primary school, I remember reading and being obsessed with the Pongwiffy books. I can't remember who the author is, but I remember writing to her and she wrote me a letter back and sent me a poster, which was super nice of her. So definitely Pongwiffy. I remember reading a lot of Winnie the Pooh, and again I wrote to A.A. Milne's, I think it was his grandson maybe, and they wrote me back as well. So I read those when I was super young, and then I went on to read things like The Hobbit and The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe when I was in primary school, and I remember being obsessed with The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. But actually I think that's the only book I read in the series, so maybe I should go back and read them all. That'd be quite cool to do. And then going back to what I said about my parents reading to me when I was younger, I remember them reading these Disney books. I think they were called The Wonderful World of Reading, and they had Snow White, 101 Dalmatians, Aladdin, and I had the whole series, and I remember reading those every single night, and they must have been the first books that I read, and that is probably what got me into reading in the first place. Question number 6 is, what questions would you ask your favourite booktubers? My favourite booktubers are This Story Ain't Over, Books with Emily Fox, Nikel's Nook, and Sarah LeBrat. And I think my first question to all of them would be who is their favourite booktuber. And then because I work in the film industry, I would also love to ask them, and ask anybody watching this video, what is your favourite book to screen adaptation? And that can be like a book to a movie or a book to a TV show. Gone Girl is actually one of my favourite books to screen adaptations. And if you want to share yours, please do let me know in the comments. I would love to hear it. And another question I would want to ask them, and again, this is for everybody that wants to answer, what is their favorite film, and is it anything like their favorite book? My favorite film is The Martian, and that's actually a book to screen adaptation. I love the film and I love the book. The film is my favorite film of all time, and the book is probably like my top 3 favorite books ever. Question number 7. What challenges do you think starting a YouTube channel will be the hardest to overcome? Okay, that's a really good question, and for me, I think it will be being able to explain myself articulately and concisely, especially when doing like the Booktube videos, reviewing books, sharing that feedback. I don't just want to say, I love this book, it was great, super well written, or I didn't enjoy this, blah, blah, blah. I want to be able to explain myself and give really articulate, concise critiques of books. And I think that the more I do this, the better I'll get at it, and it will also help in my writing, fingers crossed. Question number 8, when did you start reading? I feel like I've answered this in a couple of the other questions. I've been reading for as long as I can remember, definitely since primary school, and I've been reading my whole life. I've never really taken a long break from reading. I think maybe the most I've gone without reading could be, I don't even know if I've gone a month without reading before. I'm always reading something. There are books all around the house, so I'm always reading. Question 9, where do you read? Where do I not read? I read in every single room of my house. This is my office / writing room. I read in here, and I'm actually going to be getting a rocking chair for the corner, and I'm super excited for that to come, make that a little cozy book corner to read in. I try to read every night before bed, in bed, and since we've moved, our living room is now super cozy. We have carpet, whereas in the old house it was a wooden floor. So I just feel that when you have carpeted floors, it's super cozy. So I love reading in the living room at the minute. And then I also read in the kitchen, like when my hubby is cooking, I'll be sat at the dining table and read while he's doing that. And luckily, I don't get motion sickness. So if somebody else is driving, I'll just read in the car, whether we're going to the shops, whether we're going on a long journey, I'll always have a book with me in the car. Question 10, what kind of books do you like to read? First and foremost, I'm a fantasy girl. I always have been and I always will be. I love fantasy books, and most subgenres of fantasy I will read. As you can see, my favourite author is Brandon Sanderson. He has a whole shelf dedicated to his books. I also love Ursula Le Guin, Trudy Canavan, Patrick Rothfuss, and Nora Roberts has some really good fantasy books if you're looking for a easy to get into, quick fantasy read. She has some really, really good ones. Then, as well as fantasy, I also read some sci-fi. Andy Weir is one of my favourite sci-fi authors. His latest book, Project Hail Mary, is one of my favourite books ever. They're actually turning that into a movie starring Ryan Gosling, so I am super excited for that. I cannot wait to see it, and I hope it is just as good as The Martian. They are the 2 genres that I definitely read the most. This year, I do want to diversify what I read. I'm really excited to start reading historical fiction. I've been recommended a couple of historical fiction books by some friends, so I'm really looking forward to reading those. I also read some self-help books to do around work, like The 4-Hour Work Week and Radical Candor. I feel like those types of books, you learn so much that you can apply not just to work, which is what they're for, but to the rest of your life as well, which is why I really enjoy reading those and learning. But bringing it back to what I said at the start of this question, fantasy is my number 1 genre of books that I love to read. And the last question, what does my book collection look like? Here you go. This is one bookshelf that I have set up in my room. I have another one over in that corner. Eventually, I want to make this bookshelf fantasy only. As you can see, it's got some other books on here. Dan Brown is on here. Dan Brown gets such a bad reputation sometimes, I think. His books are really fun to read. If you like history, if you like thrillers, if you like a good time, I think they're really easy to get into. And I've actually got, if not all of them, a lot of his books. And then over on my other shelf, that's where I've got my self-help books. I have some Marvel books. Which I might do a little video on those, because I've got like a really classic pop-up Marvel X-Men book and the Marvel Encyclopedia. And what else have I got on there? Great Lines by Shakespeare and a couple of other classics. When my room is fully set up, I'll do a little tour of it and I'll go through both my bookcases. Because we've just moved house, I still have a lot of books in storage that I'll be collecting this weekend. So my shelves are going to change a bit once I get all of my books into my house. But yeah, this is my book collection. So there we go, we've answered all of the Booktube newbie tag questions. Thank you so much for being here and watching this video and sticking with me through this. I really hope you've enjoyed it and have learnt a bit about me. If there are any other booktubers you think I should check out, please do let me know who. I love watching booktube and I'm always looking for new booktubers to watch. I'll be posting new videos every Thursday, so if you want to stay up to date with what I'm posting, please do subscribe, and if you've enjoyed this video, please do drop it a little like as well, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!